Won't you just come my way?
Come in.
Baby, won't you just take your time?
Okay.
Hello everybody, how are you guys doing? I'm here to do a reaction video on Iyanla and Jared. Y'all remember the little statement Iyanla did when she came out and she talked about all that she's went through, you know, their divorce is final. And I'm just here to do a reaction on what happened, you know, just break it down on the things that she's saying and let's just talk about it, okay? Let's talk about it. Let's get into some things.
Well, it is official. Divorce really is like a grief, and as much as people laugh at how long we were married, I think my expectations made it real, my hope made it real, my effort made it real, my tears made it real.
First things first, I understand her announcing and talking about it. However, the news media already broke the story that you guys were getting a divorce. You don't owe us anything. You don't owe the public an explanation on why your relationship did not work. We got enough of that with Love is Blind. Especially like in this, you clearly see that she's choosing to talk about it on whichever Instagram, TikTok, you know, she's talking about it on her own. There is nobody forcing her to discuss this. So you really don't owe anybody anything. You know, we've seen it on television. That's as close as your relationship we were. We don't know what really took place. You know, we really don't know the meat and potatoes of it. You do. You know, we just know what we see, and what we see is edited, cut, and chopped up and put together. So you really don't owe us anything. It doesn't matter what the trolls are saying. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. It only matters what you and Jared think, you know? And I get her reflecting upon it. I just think that it could have been private. I'm private about certain things, you know? I don't like to talk too much about my relationships. I don't like to talk too much. Like, I tell you guys certain things, you know, but even that, I kind of keep it, like, limited. I try not to go into details, you know, about certain things. The only thing I think I've probably done that with is, like, talking about my child father and all of that issues, because I wanted people to learn from it, ladies having kids and people going through things like that, you know. But as far as, like, the details, you know, stuff, I don't go into details. So you don't owe nobody. You choose what to share, what to reflect upon, what to show your audience, you know. You feel like this should be told, or this, you know what I'm saying? You signed up for Love is Blind even with that, you know. You don't owe us anything. You don't owe the public anything, okay? So her feeling, well, I'm like crying and telling us, it comes off a little bit disingenuous. You don't owe anybody anything. You're choosing to tell us, you're choosing to talk about it, and I'm choosing to talk about it because you talked about it, okay? I'm just saying.
So I'm crying for that girl that I was at the beginning of this marriage, when I was so hopeful. I had less baggage, and I was optimistic, and I was healed. And I'm crying for that marriage that I thought could work. I'm crying for that man I believed he was.
I can dig that. I can understand that. You know, when you go into a situation, you always are very hopeful, you know, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. You know, you think the best of things. You think that everything's going to be perfect. Things are going to work out perfect. Even sometimes the person can show you who they are and you ignore it because you just are so hopeful. You just wish the best would happen. So I get her saying these things. I guess her, like, I get it. Especially when you come out of a situation with more baggage than you entered the situation in. It's like, damn, right? So I definitely understand where she's coming from. I get where she's going with this. Like, man, I had so much hope. I entered this situation thinking things were going to be this way, and it turned out being that way, and now I'm disappointed. You know, now I'm sad. Now I'm broken, especially since I was putting in all the effort, and especially this person further showed the entire world that I was his second choice, you know? He said it publicly, and I try to change his mind and be with him and love him beyond that, but he keeps showing me that I'm his second choice and that my feelings and my opinions is not important.
Man, he convinced me he was in the beginning, and in between all that very scheduled filming, there was good moments in there. There was connection, and then cameras left and shit hit the wall.
I think that Jared definitely, you know, made it seem as though he really liked her and he really loved her. And I almost want to say that she thought like she saw pieces of her dad, her godfather, and Jared. And I think that's why she wanted to be with him. I think she thought that, like, you know, my godmother has this type of man. He loves her. He stood by her. And I met him first, of course. So I want that relationship. I think that that's why she chose Jared, because he felt very home to her, you know? And it was just a show to him. And all of us seeing it, it's like we're the good girlfriends that said, girl, we seen this from the beginning, but you know what? You don't deserve that. It don't change the fact that she does not deserve that. I think that she should have worked on self first, you know? I think that she should have worked on herself first and her love for herself, and forget what anybody, because your friends, your family, all of them can love you, but you have to love yourself first. For you to recognize somebody else's genuine love, you would have to pour back into you and love yourself, okay? It'll never be genuine with anybody else if it's not genuine with you. I think she needed to work on herself and love herself first. And I think if she would have loved herself, she would have seen Jared, because Jared wasn't being very secretive. He was very upfront with his dislike. Even when he saw Mallory, he was flirting with her and everything.
Every time we talked, I was just like, Mama.
Because that was the thing?
Who else called you a nickname? Who else gave you a nickname?
Most men that are into sports and things like that, or like that connect me on that aspect, they don't put me priority.
You know, all of that was like signs and red flags, but she just went beyond that, and she just loved him and married him and just wanted the world, you know, for them. So I think that had she loved herself, she would have seen the signs early on.
Don't get it twisted. I may be crying and I may be sad right now, but I'm happy that I'm moving forward. I'm happy that I'm out of something that no longer works for me. Something that drained the life out of me. It makes you question yourself, you know? Like, I question my judgment. I question myself. Like, if my own husband couldn't see the value in me, then what the fuck? You know?
Not even just a Jared, like, you're gonna seek validation, because it's common for women to seek validation from men, right? Good thing she has somebody. Some people seek validation in drugs. Some people seek validation, you know, just in different things, you know? If you don't have that concrete validation that you gain from your parents, that unconditional, no matter what you do, I'm gonna love you. You can never do nothing I could be disappointed in you, but I'm always gonna love you, and I'm always gonna choose you. You get chosen. You know, your parents are your first loves. Honestly, you meet your dad is your first male love. Your mom is your first female relationship that, you know, that's untoxic. And like, they teach you so much, you know. Your parents teach you character, personality, different things you learn from your parents. And when you don't have that concrete safety blanket, you kind of seek that elsewhere in other people.
First with my mom raised me until I was about 9, but she couldn't quite take care of me financially, and she just had a few mental disorders that kind of got in the way of her being the best mom that she wanted to be. So she thought it was best to pass me along to someone else she felt that I would be safe with, which was my cousin, her second cousin. Sorry, my cat. Her second cousin, and she raised me until I was 18. But then there were some complications, some friction there. I was kicked out of the house, and the next ones in line were my godparents, and they took me in without hesitation and wanted to take on a full parent role, which was so weird for me because I had never had a set of parents before. So yeah, they took on that role, and I'm so grateful that they did now, because in retrospect, I'm like, that was the best decision that anyone could have made for me who cared for me. And yeah, I mean, at the time I didn't quite see that because I was young and dumb, but now I'm so grateful for them.
And I feel like she wanted Jared so much because she wanted her stepmom and her stepdad type of situation. She felt like, hey, I want something stable, something concrete, someone, and something that I can depend on.
I mean, I did it because I had always just looked up to the stability of marriage. I mean, coming from the childhood that I came from, I always thought that marriage was the ultimate stability. I mean, now I think I might have been a bit naive, but I think even still, I think it's possible if like both people are absolutely ready for marriage, and if there's like an actual like dating courting period. But nonetheless, I just craved that. I wanted that. I wanted some form of my life to be settled. I just want something to be stable other than my parents. Yeah, I just craved it.
And there's nothing wrong with wanting that, but I think that you have to kind of gain or create stability within yourself before you can seek outside stability, if that makes sense. And I think that was the problem. There's just so much that parents do with their children and create with their children that she did not have.
Our focus as parents vary depending on what stage the child is in. So with the 6-year-old, we're still discovering her personality. We're understanding her personality. Our other children, though, we have a pulse on their personality. Mackenzie, she's 13, and her personality is now being introduced to the world. And so we're helping her to understand her personality and how it fits into different social settings and how it fits in with her friends and her peers and her adults. And so we're still in that personality stage with our younger children. The older ones are 20 and up. We're wondering less about their personality, and now we're putting the finishing touches on their character. There's this parenting transition where it's less about, oh my gosh, can you believe what they said, and more about who are they and how does who they are stand up to the world that awaits them. We're putting the finishing touches on their character, their work ethic, their integrity, how they communicate. We're helping them to understand that there are some things about character, having good character, that will set you up for the rest of your life. It'll determine whether or not you have promotions. It'll determine whether or not you stay married. There are character things that have anything to do with personality. You can have a good personality and have bad character. We don't really talk about that much. You funny, but you lie through your teeth, babe. Like, geez. That's a personality trait, but that character part is so important. Personality traits are often hereditary. If you got all of the family in a room together, there would be some similarities because they were raised in the same culture, the same household, and as a result of that, have similar personalities. But if the people in that family could talk, they would tell you we have similar personalities, but we have difference and our character.
Okay, if I'm not gonna get it from my parents, let me get it from a relationship. Let me get it from, my person. And she felt like Jared should have been that for her. And sadly, he just did not, meet the standards. He wasn't up to par. He was selfish. He was thinking of himself and all of that. It's just a lot that parents do in our lives that people, pretty much don't really pay much attention to. Parents create character. Parents help you with your character, and that has a lot to do with, I think she's still taking on the character of her trauma.
So God, I need you to change my beliefs. I need you to change my conviction so it can show up in my character. God, help me to be the kind of person who looks like Jesus, so that I do not take on the character of my trauma, so that I do not take on the character of my fear, so that I do not take on the character of who everyone else thinks I should be, of my heartbreak, of my pain. I need to take on the character required for who you've called me to be. And if you are not asking yourself, God, what is it about my character that needs to be developed? Then maybe you're just asking God for things, and God wants to make you a being.
Still taking on the character of her pain, still taking on the characters. I do a lot of connection to TD Jake's daughter, Sarah Jakes, and the things that she said. Hopefully you guys watch this video and see, because I'm gonna put some clips in here. But everything she's saying is true. It's very, very true. It's very important for a child to have parents or a parental, type of connection. She gained her parental connection when she was already grown, 23.
And they were like, well, how would you feel if sentimentally, we decided to officially adopt you? And at that point, I was 21, 22, and I was like, okay. And it was official. And at that point, they showed me they're not going anywhere. Yeah. And this is by far, aside from Jared, the most stable relationship I have ever had in my entire life. So. And
I know you're not grown when you're 23, but you're basically adult, when you're 23. And she gained her parental connections there. There's a lot of, pain. There's a lot of hurt. She said it herself, I wasn't completely healed when I got on Love is Blind. When I started off at the beginning, I had to do the work, but it takes time to do the work. She has a lifelong, work to do within herself.
It's strange because at that point, I don't think I would have been ready for marriage, but I think because I knew about the show, I took the time to get ready just to make sure.
She has to find that love within herself. She can't go to her mom, her stepdad, another man, or, you know, she has to find it within herself. And everything else somebody else has is extra. They add on extra to you. But you have to gain that love within yourself, that validation within yourself, that care within yourself before anybody else can be of importance. It's just what it is.
It's really done now. So I release it. I release it. I don't have to hold those expectations anymore. I don't have to keep pouring into someone who doesn't have the capacity to pour back.
No, you need to pour into yourself, you know, pour into yourself, love yourself, discover things about yourself, especially with a relationship like that, something so traumatic, something so heavy. You need to pour all of that love, that care back into you, back into yourself. And then, you know, once you do the self work, I promise you it's going to be so easy for you to see the red flags. It's going to be so easy for you to see when people are just disingenuous, when people are trying to take advantage of you, when people are messed up, when people are just jacked up. And this is not preaching to the choir. I'm telling you, I was the same way, have been the same way. It's been a constant working on myself to be a better person. So I'm saying, like, if you don't do the work within, you know, you're going to always seek somebody to work for you, work on you, you know, offer you something. And when in actuality, you owe yourself the world and you should go give it to yourself.
Now I can just focus on my friends and my family. People who do see the value in me, the people who are supporting me, the people who are reminding me who I am, and how they see me and how God sees me.
And what about how you see you? You know, God sees you in a certain type of way. Your friends and your family sees you in a certain type of way. But you have to see yourself. How do you see you? Because when the music turns off, the lights turn off, the makeup is off, the lashes get removed. What do you think about yourself? You and you. It's how you feel. What about what you think, you know? It doesn't matter what nobody else thinks, including this individual. It matters what you feel about you. And until you fix that, until you gain a connection with how you feel about you, you'll keep picking frogs.
A new chapter. Really a whole new book. It's a good thing. No more tears. I'm tired of being a fucking sad girl. I'm tired of it. All right. Bye.
I'm sorry that she got her heart broken in the process, because a heartbreak is horrible. But she needs to do the work on herself, or things like this is going to keep happening. I feel so bad because I was like, I love her. Y'all know I love her. I did a whole little breakdown of her season of Love is Blind and everything, and how I feel. I love her to pieces, but at the same time, she has to do the work on herself. She has to gain her connection with herself. She has to do these things, and it comes from not having that family life at home, you know? Like, she was already set up for failure, but she's made it past all the odds. Now she just has to do the work within, you know? You don't have the connection with your mom. There's little to no conversation about her father, you know, little to nothing. So she has to kind of gain that, all that her parents should have given her, that they should have meant to her, and her godparents tried their hardest to do. She has to pour that back into herself, work on herself, build herself up. I hate this for her, this heartbreak for her. I hate it, but it could be an opportunity for something beautiful, an opportunity for something great, an opportunity for something marvelous, an opportunity, like a bunch of opportunities for the best of things, you know? So she just, like, give herself chance to grow, give herself chance to be happy, give herself chance to just move on from here, you know? It could be an opportunity for so much great things after this if you grow and you learn from all that you experience, you know? But yep, that's my review of Iyanla, her talking about her heartbreak and everything. Hopefully you guys love everything I said. Hopefully you guys like the clips that I added. Hopefully you guys get where I'm coming from and don't think I'm like, because I love her. I don't want you to think I'm down talking her, or I'm, you know, like making fun of her or making like bad of her situation, because it's already a bad situation. It doesn't need me to add on to the negativity. But I'm just letting you guys know, like, I think the world of her, and I think she just needs to think the world of herself, because it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It matters what you think and how you feel about you. But yeah, thank you so much for watching my video. Love you guys.